We are anonymous. We watch the shadows so power cannot hide. The story unfolding tonight is not just about one royal, one politician, or one disgraced financier. It is about an entire system built to protect predators and punish truth. You are about to hear how that system is cracking, and why the powerful are beginning to fear their own secrets. The Jeffrey Epstein scandal has long been one of the darkest stains on the modern elite. A man who called himself a financier, yet his true trade was influence, manipulation, and control. He built an empire of blackmail using money, sex, and access to power. Presidents, princes, and billionaires mingled in his mansions and on his private island. The media whispered, the powerful laughed, and the victims waited for justice that never came. Until now, across the Atlantic, the royal family that has stood for centuries as a symbol of power and decorum is now facing a reckoning unlike any in its modern history. Prince Andrew, now stripped of his titles and known only as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, has become the face of disgrace. Once a decorated naval officer, a prince of the realm, and brother to the king himself, he is now in exile within his own family. His royal honors gone, his residence revoked, his name tarnished. The fall of Andrew is more than scandal. It is symbolic. For years, institutions protected him. The palace issued denials. The press was silenced. Victims were dismissed. Yet evidence kept rising, and survivors like Virginia Giuffre refused to be silenced. They described how Epstein trafficked them, how powerful men looked the other way, and how the world's most untouchable elite lived above law and consequence. Andrew's name was there in flight logs, in photographs, in court filings. His denial claiming he could not sweat, and that he was eating pizza in Woking at the exact time of the alleged assault, became a national joke. But no one is laughing anymore. King Charles's decision to strip his brother of royal privileges was not made in haste. It was a move born from survival. The monarchy itself faces scrutiny, and Charles could not risk his reign being tainted by his brother's sins. The official palace statement was brief but devastating. Andrew would lose all titles and honors, and he would be forced to vacate the royal lodge at Windsor. The message was clear. The crown no longer protects those accused of crimes against the powerless. But this scandal no longer belongs to Britain alone. In the United States, it has entered the halls of Congress. 16 Democratic members of the House Oversight Committee have written a formal letter to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, demanding a sworn testimony regarding his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Their words were direct. They believe Andrew holds valuable information about Epstein's co-conspirators and enablers. They pointed to emails in which Andrew told Epstein, "We are in this together," a line that now haunts him. They reminded him of his repeated visits to Epstein's properties, including the infamous private island in the Virgin Islands, where many of Epstein's crimes took place, and they gave him a deadline, November 20th, to respond. This move is unprecedented. It is not every day that the United States Congress demands testimony from a member of foreign royalty. But make no mistake, this is more than an invitation. It is a signal. The era of silence is ending, and it is sending shockwaves far beyond Buckingham Palace. Because here is the truth. No one in Trump's orbit wants to admit Jeffrey Epstein's web reached into the heart of American politics. He mingled with the rich and the powerful. He hosted Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, and countless others. His black book reads like a directory of influence. And now, with Democrats pushing to release the Epstein files, the walls are closing in on everyone who ever shared a flight, a phone call, or a secret with him. For years, Donald Trump has pretended he barely knew Epstein, despite photographic evidence showing the two laughing together at Mar-a-Lago. In the late 90s, Trump called Epstein a terrific guy and said he liked beautiful women as much as he did, especially the younger ones. That quote has not aged well. When Epstein was first arrested in 2008, Trump distanced himself, but multiple reports and witness accounts have since linked Trump's social circle with Epstein's operations. The question has always been, what did Trump know, and when did he know it? The new congressional push to release the Epstein files might finally answer that. If those files are unsealed, they could expose years of suppressed evidence, flight manifests, transaction records, security footage, and the identities of those who helped Epstein procure victims. Some of those names may include businessmen, celebrities, and yes, politicians. That is why Trump's allies in the House have fought so hard to block the vote. But Democrats have now found a new angle, used the global pressure from Andrew's disgrace to force action at home. This is not just a legal fight, it is a moral one, because behind the glamour and gossip, there are victims who lost their childhoods to the appetites of men who believed they were gods, women who were silenced, threatened, and paid off. Survivors who have waited decades for a world that pretended not to see. The stripping of Andrew's title is not justice, it is only a beginning. True justice will come when every name, every accomplice, and every cover-up is exposed. Now the question is whether Congress will have the courage to follow through. Already the White House has remained silent. Senate Republicans refuse to comment. Speaker Mike Johnson, under mounting pressure, is trying to stall any vote related to the Epstein files, claiming it is a distraction from the budget crisis. But every hour of silence makes the public louder. Activists are calling this the American monarchy moment, the first real chance to hold untouchable figures to account. The same way the king was forced to act against his brother. The irony is rich. Across the ocean, a king exiles his brother for moral failure. In America, a former president still walks free despite mounting scandals, criminal charges, and his own web of lies. Both nations face the same question: can power ever be truly accountable? Or does it always protect itself until it is forced to crumble? Andrew Mountbatten. Windsor's downfall might just be the domino that starts a chain reaction. His testimony, if given, could link financial networks, identify hidden associates, and confirm the role of governments and intelligence agencies in shielding Epstein. There are whispers that Epstein's death in a federal jail was not the end of the story, but the beginning of a cover-up. There are questions about missing video footage, destroyed evidence, and sealed documents marked as national security material. Why would sex trafficking evidence be treated like classified intelligence unless it implicated people in power? As Anonymous, we have followed this story for years. We saw the patterns of suppression, the quiet settlements, the mysterious suicides, and the shifting loyalties among billionaires and politicians. Every thread leads back to one truth: Epstein's crimes were not isolated. They were systemic. His wealth was protection. His clients were his insurance. His island was his vault, and those who visited it did so knowing exactly what they were part of. The British monarchy can cut off a brother, but the American political system must do something far harder: cut off its donors, its lobbyists, its financiers. That is why this moment matters. The congressional letter to Andrew is more than symbolism. It is a crack in the wall, a signal that the days of polite silence are over. And when that wall finally breaks, there will be names we never expected, connections we never imagined, and truths that will shatter the illusion of democracy as we know it. The next few weeks will be crucial. If Andrew responds by November 20th, we may witness the first royal testimony in a United States investigation in modern history. If he refuses, Congress still has the power to subpoena documents and expand the inquiry. Either way, the pressure is mounting. King Charles has already acted. The palace will not protect him. The American public is watching. Survivors are demanding answers. And Donald Trump. He can mock the investigation all he wants, but he knows what is coming. The more light shines on Epstein's network, the closer it gets to him. The photographs, the guest lists, the donations, the names in flight records, they are all threads leading to the same fabric of corruption. Trump's lawyers can delay trials, but they cannot erase history. The truth always finds its way out. We live in an age where power built on secrecy is dying. Technology has made it impossible to bury the past. Files can be leaked. Emails can resurface. Photos never disappear. That is why the establishment fears us. Because Anonymous is not one person, it is everyone who refuses to stay silent. We are the light cutting through their darkness. As you hear this, remember what happens next depends on us. The release of the Epstein files, the exposure of those involved, the accountability of Trump, of Andrew, of every silent enabler. It will only happen if the public demands it. You are not powerless. Every view, every share, every question adds pressure. Truth is not a gift from the powerful. It is a weapon forged by those who refuse to bow. So to the ones who said it could never happen, look again. A prince has fallen. A Congress is stirring. A movement is rising. The masks are coming off. The files are coming out. And the walls are trembling. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.